Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Google Workspace Recap, a Tab Geeks Network show. Each week we take you through everything announced by Google Workspace, discussing the updates of the week and other relevant news and announcements. My name is Jesse Nolan, my co-host is Steve Larson, and we're here to help you keep up. Hot off the presses, I have the brand new Visualizing Google Cloud book by Priyanka Vergadia. Apologies if I didn't get your name correctly. There's 101 illustrated references for cloud engineers and architects. It is a visual tour of Google Cloud. It's so new, I haven't even read it yet. I literally just got it before I came into the studio and opened it up. But you can see, for those on the video, you can see kind of some of the graphs that are in here, some of the imagery. Which storage should I use? Object store, block store, file store, and it also goes into detail on the opposing page over here, so you can see both of these. And I just picked this up, just came out, and as Steve and I were talking about before we started recording here before the show, Priyanka is a Google Cloud powerhouse and is big on the Next circuit. So pretty excited to get my hands on this. Steve, you going to be ordering one?
You know what? I'm gonna maybe try to pick one up at some conference, maybe for free. I'll see if they're available. Going to one next week. Going to one this week. I've got one. Maybe head out to L.A. area to meet up with you.
That's not this week, is it?
The Chicago one is. The one in Chicago is
I was
this
going to say,
Thursday.
because I'm going away this week. It better not be this week.
No.
Okay, the
This
Chicago
week is
C2C
the
event,
C2C
yeah?
in Chicago, correct. Thursday
Nice.
afternoon. Yep.
Very nice.
So I'm heading to that one.
And hopefully we'll get you out for the SADA event in a couple of weeks, and maybe they'll be giving them out here. I think, is she speaking at the SADA event?
I know that a lot of their team, the SADA team, was posting about that book.
Yeah.
I don't know if she'll be there for that event. I doubt it. I don't think so.
I can check. I'll tweet Tony later. Be like, yo. Yeah, but it's a pretty cool book. You can see it got prime placement here in the background, so a little bit of glare on there, though, at the moment, but hopefully it doesn't fall down on my head while we're recording. But I'm pretty excited. It should be a fun book and learn some more about Google Cloud. Always something to learn, especially in something that changes as frequently as Google Cloud does. But on the Workspace side, what do we got this week?
On the Workspace side,
huge episode.
I mean, yeah, huge 2 updates and education updates.
Two education
so,
updates.
Not much happening this week. It's been pretty quiet. Hopefully this week.
Give everybody a break after those last couple of weeks there.
I mean, hopefully this week there's 10 updates scheduled for this week. Many of them were supposed to be released today. I think all but one. I think only one got released.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens this week.
We are seeing the actual embodiment of the sprint mentality.
Yeah.
Programming sprints, right there.
Exactly. So yeah, we'll go through the updates this week. They're pretty quick, and then we'll have a nice little assortment of topics in the news that will exceed our updates this week around. So quick one that came in the end of week recap post is that Google is extending grammar features to the German language. And then in terms of our 2 updates that we saw this week, you can now seamlessly access popular education technology tools directly in Google Classroom. And then finally, choose to grade with Canvas, SpeedGrader, or Google Assignments. Those are the 2 releases that came out this week. So for those Google Workspace Enterprise customers that are not in education, it didn't get much this week. So okay, come back next week, please. And then in terms of things that we've seen in the news, there's some improving developer agility and efficiency with Google Workspace. That's an article just from the Google Cloud blog. From Global Newswire, we saw some stuff happening there that talks about Questix digital signage experience announces Google executive to Keynote November event in Las Vegas.
This is an interesting one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how we got this on our notes, but I guess just updates in general, this is a good resource to have. And I think we talked about this probably when we had our good friend from the Chrome team on a while back. There's just a link to the Chrome. I think we did. I'm not sure why we posted it here again.
Posted it? I feel like, was it me? If it was me, I feel like I was trying to allude to something on it.
Yeah.
The Chrome Enterprise release notes.
Check our chat history there.
I'm looking.
About it. But yeah, the Chrome Enterprise and Education release notes.
It's related to the previous update, to the digital signage experience. More on that later.
Got it. Okay. Got it. So some new features with Chrome version 104, I believe, is what you're probably referring to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll talk about that more in the update. And then, as we were talking about C2C Gather events here in Chicago this week, there will be another one coming up in August, end of August, and that one will be in California at the wonderful Google Spruce Goose campus.
Oh, baby.
Location.
I will never say no to an event at the Spruce Goose.
There you go. And then, and then also another interesting thing that I think, it kind of crosses the cloud and workspace, borders there, is that Data Studio is now the newest Google Cloud service. So, of course, it's been available for quite some time. And it's been one of those additional Google services that, wasn't part of a workspace service, wasn't part of a cloud service. It was kind of sitting off on its own, and it didn't have as many things. It didn't have much oversight as products might have had if they were part of the core workspace services or a main Google Cloud service. So now it comes under the Google Cloud Service umbrella.
And when you posted that on here, and we talked about this earlier, I had no idea that it wasn't. It didn't even occur to me. Google has talked on stage at Google Next about Data Studio at length with demos, everything, and I totally didn't even think that there was a realm of possibility that wasn't the case, but it is now official, shiny Google Cloud service. So cool.
Yep, exactly. So that's our topics for the week, and we'll dive into that first one there about the German language stuff.
Stuff.
Jump over, let me jump over to my Microsoft Edge.
Did you do that on purpose? Edge, blasphemy.
I know. Well, you know what's happening is
on a Mac, no less. What are you doing?
The Chrome Canary version I have is crashing every time I open a profile. So that's
no excuse. You already had Edge on your computer to revert back to it.
I mean, Edge is the closest. I've got, it's running Chromium in the back end there. So
it is.
I mean, yeah.
Gotta give you a hard time for that.
My profiles keep crashing in Chromium right now. I gotta wait for some updates probably. Extending grammar features to German. So, pretty quick one is that some possible grammar errors in your text will be corrected if they're in German, and you set that as your default language. So that expansion into the German language there with Gmail and Docs is going to be rolling out to rapid release and scheduled release domains on a gradual roll-out pace up to 15 days for visibility. And we'll include some links for you to check that out. But it's just general articles about how those language spelling and grammar features work. Nothing too specific about this feature other than just setting your default language to the German if you want to take advantage of that. And then as we go into the main update here. For the first one, you can now seamlessly access popular education technology tools directly in Classroom. So with this update here, there's quite a few different things that Google's kind of partnering with on this. So as I look in this announcement with things like Kahoot and Pear Deck, IXL, Nearpod, I don't really know any of these things. because
Got to
this
get
is all
somebody
on
from
the
education on
education
the show.
side. Yes, yeah, we should. But so this is essentially what this is a new seamless integration of single sign-on, assigning and grading, and making it easy for educators to access popular edtech tools that work best for their class directly in Google Classroom. So when this feature is going to enable educators to browse, assign, and grade compelling content for their classes, and allow both educators and students to access their edtech tools without having to go through various login steps, such as, of course, remember those username and passwords. So it's just like a fancy SSO enhancement, it seems like. So,
I've thought about this from time to time, to cut you off there for a second, and every time a big education, integration update comes up, it comes back into mind. I don't think I've ever brought this up. School must be so different for those that are actually using the technology platforms and I'm starting to make myself sound old here. Like, what do you just share a Google Doc? Today versus, do you just share a Google Doc with your teacher when you're done with it? Like, we had to go turn it in, but I know that all that stuff is integrated now. Plagiarism detection and all that jazz, grading, speed grading technology to, I guess, have the AI take a look at it before you do. There's all these amazing technology tools. I was one of the only kids in my class that had a laptop, and certainly was among a small group in the school that had laptops, and we were considered a pretty technology forward school. We had a computer lab and state-of-the-art smart boards that used a camera to capture the placement of the what you drew and take pictures of it and the whole 9 yards. And Jesus, that was what, 2006? Not that long ago. And today every single kid has a laptop. Thank you, COVID, whether they did before or not. I think we're going to have to get somebody on here to explore that. It's like, well, walk us through the workflow as a student and as a teacher. What is that like?
Yep.
I sound like a grumpy old man now. Get off my lawn.
I was taking some classes maybe a year ago, and you're submitting all of your documents online by a certain time. A lot of them are you can use Google Docs. As a teacher, you can see. If I wanted to, I could. It depends on how the student obviously creates the Google Doc. If you want it to just appear as a finished product, you draft it outside
Create
of Google
a new doc.
Right?
Or in a different doc and then share it. I don't want them to see all my revisions and history.
Right,
and
how it
history.
evolved.
Hell no.
Right, all the copies and pastes that made it in there, right? And
I sat down and I wrote it, and it was perfect on the first try.
Right, yeah, exactly. So that's kind of what I experienced recently. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to write this, compose this, and then I'm going to make a copy and then submit that point in time, like when I was finished copy. And
I was talking with some of my nieces and nephews, and they mentioned how the school locked down their chat, and so they just chat inside of a Google Doc, and nobody is able to see it in there, or nobody's looking in there, one or the other, and that's where their friend, click, whatever chat is taking place, is in the sidebar of a Google Doc.
That's the other thing too. Is like this cat and mouse game, right, with students and educators. It'll never end. And IT.
Well, it's like us and hackers. Exactly. It's just the school ground version of it, literally.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly
it will never end. And I used to be on the other side of that fence, so I certainly was one of those people that found every loophole and workaround on the old systems.
Absolutely.
And probably everybody listening to the show is or was.
Yeah,
that's what got us into tech, and that's the question I ask a lot on my Heroes of IT show. Also, is how did you get into tech? And 9 times out of 10, it's I got a degree in poli-sci and was bored, so I went into IT. Or I was studying to be pre-law, and I got a job working in IT at a car dealership, and I've been doing it ever since. And it's like, we love tech. That's why we're here.
Yeah,
we're tinkerers, tweakers. Well, not tweakers, but we tweak things. I suppose. Yeah. Maybe some tweakers. I don't know. Go on. I'll stop talking.
All right. That's right. So part of this update, as an admin, your district admins must enable this feature, able to use this. Once those things are set up, you can head over to the area for the add-ons within the assignments and streams, screen. Sorry.
Say it 5 times fast.
Assignment and stream screen. Yes. So that's where you'll be able to see it. And there's also some ability, if you are a EdTech tool and developer, there's ways to express some interest to create some developer add-ons. So there's a forum that you can head over to and submit some information, and then kind of build some of these add-ons here for Classroom. Rollout on this one, it was available now when the announcement was released on the 1st of August. And availability is going to be available to all teaching and learning upgrade customers, as well as Education Plus customers, but not available to anybody else. And then next, we have another student education focused one. Choose to grade with Canvas Speed Grader or Google Assignments. So starting today, which was the 4th of August, with Google Assignments for Canvas, there's now going to be an option to grade with either Google Assignments or Canvas Speed Grader. So these kind of tools, having the ability now to use both gives teachers the ability to be a little bit more flexible with what options they have. And so if you choose if educators choose to grade with Canvas Speed Grader, they can also utilize annotations in audio and video comments as they grade. So you can select that to grade an assignment instead of Google Assignments. So this, I think, sounds like it's a pretty welcomed, highly requested feature. Google Assignments must be enabled to use SpeedGrader, and rollout pace on this one, as I said, started on the 4th of August. That's going to be for both rapid release and scheduled release domains, up to 15 days for visibility there. And then in terms of availability across the education SKUs, it's going to be available for Education Fundamentals, Education Plus, Education Standard, and the Teaching and Learning Upgrade customers. So basically all education SKUs on that one. And that's it. That's all she wrote, folks. It's going to be just other news in the rest of the episode here. So, Jesse, over to you.
Some interesting other news here. I am of two minds with this next update. It is a blog post on the Google Cloud blog under Google Workspace called Improving Developer Agility and Efficiency with Google Workspace, which is great. I love it when Google Workspace is able to improve efficiency and agility, and that's why we love the platform. And the blog post is somewhat of a marketing appealing to developers, saying, hey, you can use Google Workspace, and here's all the ways you can use it to start coding quickly, speed up testing by putting or working with apps in Google Chat, such as Jira, Jenkins, which I'm sure, because it was or is used pretty heavily inside of Google, hopefully works pretty well. But they also list here and highlight Asana, and you've all heard how much I love Asana on this program. But they talk about, to date, users have installed Asana for Gmail add-on over 2.5 million times, and 3.8 million installs on the Asana for Google Workspace add-on for Google Drive. Sure, I don't use either of them. I've installed both of them. I also installed the Asana in Chat add-on, and they're terrible. I don't know what Google was up to when they were building this, why they stopped halfway, is certainly what it feels like, to the point where in Chat, it doesn't really do anything for me. Okay, you can notify me. I have push notifications on my phone, I have push notifications in the browser, and I get emails for a number of projects that I'm on. I don't also need it to show up in Chat. Sure, I could turn all of those off, and then it would only show up in Chat, but then my Chat would just get more polluted with notifications. No, I want to be able to do what it's talking about here, where I can interact with these other programs with a lot more features inside of Chat, sort similar to what you can do in dynamic emails in Gmail. Bring that to Chat with the full power of Asana, of adding and manipulating tasks and pulling up that information. That would be fun. That would be awesome. That would be a superpower. So, can we get back to working on that, please, Google? That would be really appreciated by pretty much everybody I've talked to who has tried to use the Asana plugin. What about you, Steve? Do you use Asana at?
Use it. Yeah, we use it a lot.
Have you integrated it into Workspace at all? 1871?
No, I haven't actually. I've not even integrated into Slack either, honestly. Got to use it a little bit more. I mean, I'm definitely using it a lot more than I've used to. Used it anywhere prior to here, but yeah, I might take a look at that.
Yeah, play around with it. I'm curious what you have to say, because in the sidebar, the add-on, all you can do is add a task. I don't need my entire sidebar to be adding a task. I want to be able to view an entire column from a project in Kanban board, for example. I want to see my task list that I'm working on in Asana in the sidebar in my email, or I want to have that sidebar open so that I can easily and quickly add tasks to it and organize where they're going, instead of just throwing a task at Asana somewhere into the Asana ether that ends up on my account, I think, in my tasks somewhere. And that's great. But again, there's a ton of real estate there. There's a ton of potential there. And they built it as like a proof of concept and then stopped and never went back to it. So that's my issue with this here. And quite frankly, I don't use GitHub, and I don't use Jira, and I don't use Jenkins. So I couldn't tell you if these services inside of chat work any better. PagerDuty it sounds like it's pretty simple.
It's probably the same thing, honestly.
But it's probably the same thing. And I've been told by some other developers. Right, and I've been told by some other developers who are trying to build apps to work with chat and on the sidebar, apparently on the Google side, it's pretty limited. So Google, could we please get back to empowering what developers are able to do, both in the sidebar and in chat, and for that matter, in dynamic email and Gmail? That has so much potential. Let's go. Anyway, that's my bit on that. If you're interested in what the actual article is about and learning how you can be more agile as a developer, check out Matt Izat, who I met at Next a couple of years ago and picked his brain for probably way too long out in the hallway in our loving, most endearing called hallway sessions. He's been there a long time. Yeah, so he's the man. He was in charge of all of Gmail at one point, I think, if I remember correctly. So, and then he moved over to the Drive team. He had a big role, if I remember correctly, in the origins of Drive file stream and the sync app there. So he's been around the block, and hopefully he listens to our show, and we'll be able to put the message into those teams to light a fire under them and get them back going. So, hi, Matt. Alrighty. On to our next topic. I'm very excited about this one. It's about damn time, Google. The next topic is QuestX's digital signage experience announces Google executive to Keynote November event in Las Vegas. Google is finally, seemingly, making a big push into digital signage. And I say finally, and, you know, at Next, what was it, 2018? That was the one at Moscone, right? Yeah. Next 2018, 19 was also, but I didn't go to that because I had a kid instead. But 2018, they had a whole huge booth in the hallway, for anybody who remembers and was there, dedicated to using Chrome boxes for digital signage. And they were highlighting all of the other signage companies out there that enabled you to use Google Chrome and Chrome devices. Chromebit was pretty big at the time. They're really going to make another one of those. But to use their apps on Chrome OS. And I was like, well, sure, but I've already kind of hacked Chrome OS into a signage solution of my own. Granted, it doesn't have full remote, but I can get it to boot automatically into a single app and start showing my slideshow or whatever it is that I have on there. But it didn't have all of the superpowers. I was like, Google, come on, you've got all of the pieces of the puzzle. When are you actually going to get around to doing something like this? And it seems that from what you can read in the press release here about Google apparently making a big presence at the show, the head of product management for Chrome OS at Google will be keynoting at the digital signage experience, and maybe I'll hop on a plane and go out to see this, on November 17th to 19th at the Las Vegas Convention Center. Wait a minute. When is next? Next is October, right?
October. Yeah,
okay,
October.
So this is afterwards.
11 through 13.
Right. So I may have to go and check this out. Naveen Viswantha is the head of product management at Chrome OS and at Google, obviously, and will deliver a keynote address at the event, which takes place November 17th to the 19th, 2022 at the Las Vegas Convention Center in Vegas. The address is titled Redefine Your Customer Experience with Modern Kiosk and Signage Solutions. And In his presentation, he will share how cloud-based platforms reduce maintenance requirements and give teams the power to remotely manage any deployed device to deliver seamless experiences, yada yada. We know all this. Quote, current kiosk and digital signage solutions are expensive, unreliable, and overly complex. See where I'm going with this? And businesses need technology that modernizes their experience without the difficulties involved in traditional systems. I look forward to sharing what we've learned at Google, built around the end-user computing growth that we have been seeing in the last several years. Google is a clear leader in the technology space, and we're thrilled to have, this is a separate quote, is thrilled to have Naveen share his wisdom with our audience, which is the Director of Event Programs. Google brings a unique viewpoint to the digital signage industry that I'm sure many will be interested to hear. Now, tie this together with the Chrome Enterprise release notes here. There is a line item under Chrome OS called Kiosk and Signage Solution Preview. Woohoo! We're excited to announce the preview of the new end-to-end solution focused on Chrome OS for kiosks and digital signage. The solution includes a kiosk-specific enrollment flow, license management, and user experience. The solution is offered, wait for it, with a new license, Kiosk and Signage Upgrade for $25 annually.
I mean, they're just relaunching what they took away. You know?
Don't ruin this for me.
I mean, this $25 license for Kiosk was around many years ago,
and they dropped the ball on it. So maybe they'll actually do it right this time.
I guess.
Oh shit, that's $1,000 conference. No, I guess I'm not going to that.
So, yeah, I mean, I've got a few. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna worry about saving $100 a year for digital signages, but I mean, I guess once the licenses I have up for the regular Chrome devices are up, I'll transition to Kiosk. That's what we're using them for. It makes sense, I guess.
Well, I do, like I said in this update here, I do think we need another Chrome bit. Intel, get on it, or somebody. The Chrome, I mean, these are overkill. The Chromebox 4 are way overkill from Asus for a signage solution. But I guess there are companies that use Mac Minis for this as well. So, I mean, I guess overkill is relative to certain folks in the enterprise space. But having a decent, affordable, specialized HDMI dongle-like device, Chromecast, that could go into the back of a TV and really make it simple to use as a signage device would be excellent. So if you know of something like that or something coming down the pipeline, let us know. Be happy to dive into that and play around with that. And please God, Google will make signage simpler and more integrated with their existing systems. And I'm looking forward to that. Next one here is the Spruce Goose event that we mentioned before is another C2C Gather event, Google Cloud Modernization with DoIT, or DoIT, I don't know. I guess I'll have to attend and find out how that's pronounced. But it's an opportunity to network, share knowledge, and unite. I almost read that as untie. Not gonna lie, my dyslexia is strong at this time of the night. We'll unite with the C2C community in person. It's also a chance to sit back, relax, and get to know your colleagues and peers, plus enjoy food and drinks on us. So they're going to be talking about Kubernetes, comparing services to run apps and automated deployments, deploying containerized applications on Google Cloud, and understanding the true cost of running Google Kubernetes engine with DoIT's cloud management platform. And yes, that isn't entirely relevant to everybody in this audience, but there is some overlap, so I figured I'd put it in there. Plus, I love in-person events, especially when they're at super slick, incredibly awesome, historic Google offices. So definitely going to head out for that, do some networking, meet some people, and hang out with some old friends. And then the last one here, Steve, you want to take this over? Because you posted it here, introducing Data Studios, the newest Google Cloud service.
Oh, I guess I can. As we were talking there in the intro to this week's episode, Data Studio now falls under the official umbrella of a Google Cloud service. And, as this transitions or has transitioned over, what that kind of what means is that it falls under all of those, compliance and attestations that Google has, for example, right? So it's going to be everything from, SOC 1, 2, and 3, PCI DSS, HIPAA, all of those things. It will also apply to Data Studio. So it doesn't seem like there's, they're changing anything from a cost perspective. Still going to be free to use, but it's a free offering. It's just not, still not supported through Google Cloud Support. So yeah, so there's that part of it. So it doesn't really change too much, as you said. It doesn't. The article talks about not changing a single pixel of the end user experience for Data Studio.
I love that description.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, with it comes a lot of more governance in terms of what's happening with that data when it's within Google's environment, and kind of expands, allows Data Studio to expand into different industries and companies that can now leverage Data Studio based upon these new controls that it now has with the data that it's processing for your data. Yeah, and I think that's the last one of the episode, right? Pretty quick.
That's it.
Did you manage to get an article posted last week of all of our
I did.
links?
All the updates. Yep.
Nice.
It's the first post since I think episode 24. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the last episode was kind of the most needed one. We had so many links and updates that it just exceeded the 4,000 character capacity that our
significantly exceeded it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Anchor, I think, is what limits us, is in the HTML to 4,000 characters. So yeah. So jump over to the website to get the full list of links from last week, so you have all that.
Yep, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's pretty much everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully this week we're going to see, there's 10 slated updates for this week. Yeah. So,
we'll you and I both this week were still able to switch our legacy GSuite accounts.
Oh, that's right.
You want to talk about that a little bit tonight as well? one of my domains had not transitioned to the new free tier, and I was getting kind of some email warning saying, hey, you have 25 days, whatever it is, to set up billing on your account. And I reached out to support and said, hey, actually, this was supposed to get transitioned to the legacy environment. And there's an article, help article, that you can head over to. Same help article, by the way.
Same one. Yeah. It has a link in it there and then
updated.
And it will allow you to transition to the free legacy tier still to this day, if you haven't done so already.
Yep.
If you get an error, the error I had today was due to Android device management licenses that were still added into my environment. I had to remove that in order to transition. And then once I did find out that I no longer have just 10 licenses. I have 300. And confirm this on a few other domains that I have as well on the legacy.
Wish I would have waited.
So you no longer are limited to 10 licenses only. You have 300, which is great. If you have a few extra people that you want to add in, or if you're using it, for family use, and you want to extend it to, not just the kids, and you want to extend it to the, the aunts and the uncles and the brothers and sisters and nephews and all that stuff, you can start to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did the same, actually. I had a domain that I had forgotten to transition over. And honestly, I had to reset my password. It's been that long since I actually logged in. I probably have to reset it every time I log in so that it doesn't get taken down by Google, because I haven't used it in that long. And I think I had, 20 available licenses on there, and I'm using 8. And same thing, I clicked the very handy button that's now on those those help notes, the help article that they have been continuously updating all this time. And sure enough, all of a sudden I too have 300 available licenses for free. So I almost wish I had waited on my other accounts so that I could also take advantage of full 300 at starter. By the way, it didn't seem to downgrade back to GSuite Legacy or whatever they're calling it, free edition. Like it still said Business Starter on it, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to go back and double check. Do you remember what yours said, Steve?
It is Google Workspace Business Starter.
Yeah.
Free, free. So
Right.
you're essentially getting Business Starter for free.
Yeah, works for me.
It's not
So,
like GSuite Legacy anymore. It's just Business Starter for free.
another
Which is
item
cool.
that I saw while I was cruising some of the Google News articles that Google gives me is from the Register that Google hit with a lawsuit for dropping free Workspace apps. This just hit today. Free forever or free until we decide. Isn't a policy criticized in filing, says the byline here. Apparently, it is a class action lawsuit filed against Google in California by early adapters who are unhappy about the ads companies, they're an ads company, I suppose, sort of, decision to demand fees for its Workspace productivity suite. At the $5 million suit's core is an allegation that Google promised early adopters of what would later become Google Workspace that they would get to use a free version of the service for as long as the search giant offered it. This should be interesting to see where this goes. I imagine Google's just going to be like, okay, so anybody who had that, just click on this link and here you go, and the lawsuit will get thrown out or dismissed or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it should be interesting to watch and stay tuned as some of the fireworks start showing up here or the fallout, I guess, from the decision here. And as we've said in the past, it's going to be an interesting couple of years going forward now that we have a new head of Workspace. So fingers crossed. Here we go. All right. Well, that's all for this week. Send us your questions and comments on Twitter at Workspace Recap and our website, workspacerecap.com. Hit the subscribe button and leave us a review on your favorite podcasting platform. Subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. Give us a thumbs up and drop your comments and questions below in the comments below the video. And have a great week, and we will see you next time on Workspace Recap.